Hey guys, what's up? It's me. It's been a day. It's been a day and RWBY's back and I've been trying to record literally all day. I was gonna record at night when it was dark and it was spooky because this episode is literally called Dark, I believe. It's literally called Dark. And then plans changed and I've basically been on standby to record for the past 3 hours, but I finally have time and I just hit the wrong audio button, but it's fine. Everything's fine. It's great. We're fine. Audio levels may be a little bit screwy. It's been a while since I've recorded, and I've had to record stuff since the levels may have to readjust them. I haven't been spoiled for this, despite the fact that it's Monday. I record on Mondays, and I think the only thing that may have been spoiled was someone, I think I saw someone, it wasn't a tweet, because I've been off Twitter, is I saw someone, make a text post that said, did Jacques just die? So he might be mauled by a giant dog. I didn't even watch the trailer for the mid-season comeback. I just saw the still at the end that was the dog and the lighting reflected behind RWBY. And I think RWBY had Penny's Nickelodeon slime on her. So I'm full of fear. I'm really worried about what's gonna happen next. And I'm just preemptively having to move my mic back because it's already peaked 6 times. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh boy. Let's see. Yeah, I had a fun moment earlier. I was like, which opening is for this season again? We have 8 at this point. And of course I did in fact remember it. And I gotta raise my volume. We said goodbye to all the things we loved. Gave up our lives just to find that it was not enough. Did fate left our solitude, our carefree peace? But change the world was just a childish dream. We failed to stop our own demise, a tragic end before our eyes. There's no place here. Maybe the path that leads our way home will finally clear. Maybe the end we tried to avoid is already here. I'm not even gonna try for this part right now. Yeah, I moved on my figures for some of them, so you can kind of see them now. I realized Kasumi's butt is on full display.
Double cheeked up.
I wanted to rewatch episode 7 before this, but I didn't have time. I mean, I have a feeling that we aren't going to see much of Jean, Yang, and Ren this episode anyway. I imagine it's going to be pretty much just focused on inside the Schnee Manor, but we'll see. We'll see. I literally had a nightmare about RWBY getting a new design for Vacuo, and me not having finished this one the other day. I'll save that for later, though, I guess. Oh, great. I love Dark. My niece is in danger!
Yep. Yeah. Not getting much sleep here either. Sounds bad out there.
Oh, yeah, they're literally just sitting there listening to the sounds of
Sound
thunder. Oh, shit! I was gonna say, wait, how can Jacques die in Schnee Manor if he's in prison? I forgot he was there. Raven. Either singular or in name. If they get crushed under Falling Rebel, I'm gonna be pissed. Let's not Game of Thrones this, y'all. I mean, I doubt they would, but you know.
No need to worry, miss. You and your friend are going to be just fine.
Nora!
She lost consciousness.
Penny!
And she's leaking.
Set her down, set her down.
She's a robot, Klein.
Can you help her?
Even based on what you've told me, I hardly know what she is. But her basic anatomy seems similar enough. I can at least stitch up that wound.
It's just Nickelodeon slime. Poor RWBY still had blood on her hands from before.
That's just rich.
No,
Everyone okay back there?
you are.
Just saw another bombing run light up the kingdom.
Looks like part of the city lost power. We're okay though.
Oh.
Sorry I couldn't stick around, but time's running out for everyone in the crater.
No,
I know it's bombs, but I kept thinking it was thunder.
Penny, we'll do something. Don't beat yourself up, kid.
Jesus.
At this point, I don't know how much is left to be done.
It's all just too much. The Grimm, the Crater, Nora, Penny. How do we
Again?
fix all of it?
Bless you.
One step at a time, my dear. You can't worry about fixing everything. Simply focus on what's in front of you. If you'd like someplace to start, I'd be able to work faster if you could bring the power back on.
Well, how would
We have a generator near the edge of the estate.
So kind of you to join us, Mother.
I was gonna say it took long enough.
Believe it or not, I am above drinking in the dark. Oh. Hello, Klein.
SDC executives have their own auxiliary power supplies in case of a citywide blackout.
Of course.
It's extremely unfair. But perhaps now isn't such a bad time for company perks.
We don't just have perks. We have the company. The people you mentioned in the crater. They need a way out, right? There are rows and rows of cargo ships just sitting in the hangars because of the embargo.
Holy shit.
And our own automated drones, like the ones at Snowshoe Shipping.
We can order as many as we need to pilot our ships down to the crater and get people to safety while the Grimm are occupied with the General's forces.
We can?
I can. I just need Father's computer.
Then we definitely need to get the power back on.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah, little twink boy! Oh boy. Man, I love Until Dawn. It's great! This is just gonna be Jurassic Park.
Come on.
Don't worry. It'll work.
Nothing else has.
I know you don't always know what to do, but that's never stopped you from doing something.
She just
I
looks
was
at-
like that as a girl, but time and a lot of other things took their toll on me. And then I wasn't sure if that kind of girl could actually survive in the world. Until I met you. It was a little strange at first because you were younger, but I've always looked up to you, RWBY. And I still do.
Thanks, Blake.
It's literally, it's like, that's a very ambitious dream for a child. It's like, that's why we're here. But the world's like not so simple. There it is. It's like, that's why we're here.
What was
To make
that?
it better. Yeah, no. Put the bottle down.
RWBY! Blake!
Weiss, there's a Grimm that... Look out!
Nice touch having the
Can
flood
you handle
desaturate
Assuming you can handle that.
as it dries.
We still
This is a
work on your
unit system.
attitude.
I know this. Oh boy. Oh, are they gonna hear it speak?
What is this thing?
It's just a Grimm.
Sure.
Just focus.
Come on, sweetie. Silver Eyes time. Oh, there goes your aura. Wait, this girl? Why that girl? I thought I was going for Penny.
Climb.
There's a Grimm here, and others might be nearby. Keep everyone together and call if there's trouble.
She sounds entirely too calm for seeing the Grimm
Madam,
pick up RWBY.
please try to calm yourself.
I can't do this. I can't do this.
Willow, please come back. Goodness, try not to...
No, not again.
Oh, is seeing RWBY gonna snap her out of it? Oh, hell yeah.
No.
The musical sting even got interrupted. Penny.
It's not here for me! It's here for Penny!
Oh! Oh! Oh, now her aura really is gone.
Got her.
Okay, so it picked her up because she had the green on her, so I thought maybe Penny. There is an alpha one of it. Ew! Yo, that's like a boss in Dragon Age Origins.
You're okay. Please!
I don't want to do it! Hey,
Nora.
no one's gonna make you do anything you don't want to do. But there is a part of me is making me. It's just a part of you.
It's not all of you.
Don't forget about the rest.
Klein, it's coming inside. Stay quiet. I'm on my way.
Do hurry. Whitley and Willow have yet to return.
What? Where'd Mom go?
Whoever animated that must have had fun. Some Resident Evil shit. Some Resident Evil shit.
Above you!
What the piano? Oh boy.
Mom?
I can see it.
On
It's
cameras.
outside Winter's old room. You can kill it, can't you?
What is it doing?
I'm not sure. It's acting strange. Why is it here?
It doesn't matter.
Just keep an eye on it so I can track it down.
Right.
Right.
Alright.
Okay.
If Weiss can
It's
summon
moving again.
that
Heading
shit
towards-
later.
Oh dear no.
I can do this.
Whitley!
Whitley!
You are the last thing I need. All that's left should be...
I never thought I'd care about this brat. Wait, that means if it's there, Cinder's coming too. Don't go look, don't peek, you idiot!
Credentials verified. Click to proceed.
It's not the time, Alexa! There's the thumbnail!
Thank you.
Way to go, Mama Schnee! Wait, did she summon it? Because Weiss isn't there. There she is. Okay, put a wall behind it,
Didn't
too.
forget you.
Oh my god, my mascara's getting in my eye. I have to watch, no! Time dilate, maybe?
Why do they get more disgusting?
True. Ugh! Slime.
I don't know if you can hear me. But I need you, Ruby. We all need you.
Oh! What the hell? Oh, I'm so glad she's using that again. She hasn't done that since the Roman fight. Sweetie.
Please. Get up.
Oh, thank God. It's the trailer pose. Almost.
I could hear you.
am glad these two are interacting more. They haven't interacted in a while, and I'm glad they are. Who yelled? Was it Nora? Penny? Penny!
I'm sorry.
There's still the, like, there's a green, almost tinted shade. Like, they're, like, the shading that they're using for her eyes is green tinted, and it makes me cry.
What are you doing?
I must open the vault. And then self-terminate.
They can't hack the maiden parts, but they can hack the rest. Not kill the girl!
That's enough.
You know what? I'll take it. Ruby. It's gonna come back in. Because it didn't affect it as much. It didn't dissolve it. It didn't even freeze it.
Take the girl.
It was a faunus.
Take the girl. Take the girl. Take the girl. Take
It's literally swallowing him again.
take.
Pushing the piano. Or the armor. Oh my god. No, 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 don't reveal.
What was that? It was a person.
Graham, don't leave remains what people do. I figured she was gonna be showing up.
This may be the first time I've ever been happy to see you.
Jesus.
Cinder. What are you?
It's my turn to ask for something.
It's her.
How is that not a heat-seeking missile? Or a target-locked missile? That got me more than I was expecting it to. Oh god. I wasn't, like, afraid so much as I was stressed, you know? Like, I'm gonna be real. I'm very glad that the Hound is dead. Although, if I'm gonna be real, oh no, we know, okay, we do know the Hound is dead. Okay, there was a body this time. Yep. Character turnaround notes. Asset the Hound. Human. So they don't have a name for him, so it's not someone we know. It's how they did the tissue is interesting. Oh, you know what that pattern looks like? Oh, oh god, that's gorgeous. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the thing so I can look at it. Yeah, I'm with Blake. How did that thing get more gross? Honestly, I'm gonna back up so that my mic stops freaking out. Oh, Jesus Christ. Today, kids, we're gonna talk about morality. Great. It's great. Love it. It's great. You know, I know that I called attention when the Hound first showed up to Full Metal Alchemist, and how I specifically thought that the Hound was gonna tie into the idea of Nina and Alexander and the Chimera, and he looks like a wolf or a dog faunus, so I feel like that was part of it. I'm glad that I'm right, but I don't like that I'm right. Oh, just the fact, like, it makes sense. Cause with her silver eyes, it would push back the grim part, but at its base, it's still a human. It's very Island of Dr. Moreau. And that, yeah, he could turn these animals into things that looked vaguely human and walked and talked and behaved, well, didn't behave, but, like, seemed to be humans, but over time, their features would creep back in. It's the same idea. It's like, yeah, you can make it appear to be something else, you can make it seem to be something else, but it still is what it started with. And I think that's why the silver eyes are the same thing. It's like, yeah, it's a Grimm. It moves like a Grimm. It walks like a Grimm. It attacks like a Grimm. It has teeth like a Grimm. It sure is a Grimm. But inside of that Grimm, at its core, there is still a human person. And now this could totally just be me talking out of my ass, which I do frequently. And I'm gonna put up the video capture for this again, just to scream about it. It could just be me, but I'm pretty sure that scarring and that web detailing was very deliberate. One, because, like, you have, like, those, they're almost like polyps, but they're also almost like teeth, so I don't really know. But when I see that, I think of Amber. I think of the Fall Maiden. The first one, TM. Not the first one, but the first one we saw. And that goop that spread across her face from the little beetle, that is what I think of. And it would be especially important to note when keeping in mind that Cinder was on the receiving end of that. It went in, like, through her arm and became a part of her, and that could honestly be part of why that glove system is there. Like, it was a means of transferring power, but I also wonder if it was a means of infusing something. Because this transferred Grimm features onto a person. So I'm wondering if that infusing could work in a different direction. I feel like it's even the same side of the face. So I could just be totally bullshitting this. But I think it's interesting to think about. Especially because while it is different, and this kind of has more of a splattered paint kind of aesthetic to it, it's very similar. And that's just what's staying in my mind from seeing that. But also, if you look at his iris, there's the black halo around it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and even the scar stuff goes over his eyebrow. It goes over it as if something was put on top of it. Interesting. Curious, I would say. But, like, it even has the halo to his eye. And it could just be the way that the scaling works for stylistic purposes. But if his iris is kind of more of an oval and less of a circle, which would be interesting. Because it could relate to that kind of, like, cat eye shape that maybe that Grimm would have if he had eyes. It literally goes over his head like a onesie. He's in a Grimm Kigurumi. He's fine. And, like, the fact that all of his visible orifices, save his mouth, are literally dripping that black goo. Like, it's coming out of his ear. It's dripping out of his eyes. Like, he basically got a blood transfusion with Grimm. Also, his neck is just gnarly as hell. Like, I get it. Like, he is totally valid in why he looks like this. But, like, damn. It's a Deadpool-looking motherfucker. Ugh, okay, now I have to actually talk about the rest of the episode. I'm gonna start talking with Oh god, okay, but Ruby's fate. Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose.
Hi.
Ruby fucking Rose, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it is no secret that I love Ruby with my heart. And I do mean the show, but in this instance, I do mean the character. And I was very glad we started seeing more development for her. And I've been really glad that we started seeing it a lot in Volume 4 and moving forward into Volume 7. And I feel like this is so cool, because also it harkens back to a lot of stuff from Volume 1. Was that conversation that Blake and Ruby had. I'm very glad that they had it. And it kind of, it doesn't parallel, but it calls back to Volume 1 and Volume 2. Because it calls back to the first time she and Blake really met. Or where Blake's just like, almost as lovely as this book. Which I will continue to read. As soon as you leave. And then followed by just like, what's it about? It's like, Yang used to read me stories when we were kids about heroes and monsters. People who would do the right thing. And would always like do what was right no matter what. And it made me want to be just like the heroes in the books. It's like, that's very ambitious for a child. Unfortunately, the real life is hardly like in a fairy tale. And then Ruby's response is so simple and it's so plain of just, that's why we're here, to make it better. And you can kind of see in that moment that it catches Blake off guard because she hasn't really met someone who is that optimistic. And with the context of these past volumes and what she says here, it's that because in that moment, Blake saw herself. She saw who she was. She saw the girl who took part in every boycott and protest. And the idea of maybe being soft in this world is not a death sentence. Maybe it takes courage to be so open and to look for the best in people. And I love having her comment on that, because she even talks about that when they're all camping in Mountain Glen back in Volume 2. They all do. It's like, I'm not like Ruby. She always knew what she wanted to do. And yeah, Blake said that, or Yang said that, but they all had the same kind of sentiment for it. Was that from the start, Ruby set out to do what was right and to help people and to make the world better. And when Blake was giving that speech, all I could think of was the Noelle Stevenson comic of it's about growth and wondering if the old you would have survived this year. And there's been a couple comics like it. Like I have another one where it was like, sometimes I miss the person I was, but I wonder, would she have survived this year? And I think that's something that Blake always thought for herself, was that I became this person. I became reserved and closed off because I needed to survive. It's what I had to do to survive. And I think she really sees in Ruby and has seen that this optimism and this hope isn't naivety. Isn't naivete, my bad. I don't know why I said it like that. It's a choice. That Ruby wakes up every morning and she makes the choice to be vulnerable and to believe in the world and believe and work for a tomorrow. And that's something that's very hard to do. And it's something that's incredibly brave. It's something that there are people out there who do it, and it blows my mind. One of my best friends is like that. And I tell them every time, it's like, you make me want to be a better person. You make me want to care about things, to be strong enough to wear my heart on my sleeve. And that is very much the conversation that they had. And I'm glad that we've got to see them interact, because we really haven't seen the two of them interact over the course of the series. And I'm glad that we get to see them kind of hanging out. And I love seeing Blake come out of her shell in the same way we first did when she first kind of opened up with Team RWBY. And it's wonderful seeing it. I love having this touching conversation while I'm looking at that dude's face. It's still up on my other monitor. Oh, Nora. As someone who's animated some first-person stuff, I really want to see the camera set up for that. Because at least when you do first-person shoot and reload animations, the camera's, like, in your collarbone. Like, it's kind of horrifying. So I wonder if they just translated her head, like, on below the bed, and then just had the camera on instead, which makes that scene a lot funnier. Thank God Klein has a medical degree, I guess. Smart thinking Whitley. I really like how you can tell, since they've kind of added more writers, how much more interwoven everything is and how everything calls back, and that was really clear with Volume 7. And it still continues to be clear here. Like, even something as simple as the shipping the shipping bots from what was it, episode 2, episode 3, very early on in this season, are coming back. It does make me wonder about the safety of that, because yeah, the Grimm are focusing on Ironwood's fleet, but there's no reason for them not to focus on other ships. Like, granted, they will probably go for the ones that are targeting them, but it's still concerning. But it is a good way to get them out of there, especially with, oh god, the River of Grimm is still a thing. Oh, Jesus. I really liked what they did with Willow, because it definitely expands on our character, and kind of like, even I'm above drinking in the dark. She very much has that kind of like, I've already sunk this low, almost self-deprecating kind of attitude, but still, and you kind of see it in these moments, is she is afraid. Willow has always been afraid. And when she does it, she reaches for the only thing that can help, but she can't even do that. She can't stop shaking. And you can see it with Whitley, just like, the last thing I need is you right now. Because if you're a scared kid and you try to go to a parent, but they're so afraid themselves they shut you out, what are you supposed to do then? And I like that you can kind of see this moment of her where, like, she is visibly sweating, she's visibly upset, but it is laid out to her that in this instance, she is not helpless. There is something she can do. She wasn't able to do it before, but now she can protect her children. And I did like kind of having that moment for her. I think it was really neat. And she's summoned. She summoned that fucking Borbatusk. It wasn't wise. Protective Mama Schnee! And I wonder if that, I know that I don't think the manga's canon. I don't remember. I haven't finished reading the manga. I've been a little busy. But I think it was that, like, Willow would make Weiss, like, hunt Grimm for sport, basically, for her. But I wonder if she also did some of that, which is part of why she was able to, in that moment of emotional turmoil, summon the Borbatusk to save Whitley. Also, you know they watched a shit ton of Jurassic Park and Resident Evil before making this episode. You can see it in every shot! You can see it in every shot! And as someone who loves Resident Evil and who Jurassic Park is a comfort movie, I appreciated every moment of it. That was really nice. That was really nice. The sack was gross. The sack was gross, and I have to agree with, like, how did these get even worse? How did these get even more disgusting? And it really just looked like that one boss from Dragon Age Origins. I will literally put up a picture here, or Zed will pull up a picture, but it's nasty. It's nasty. Oh, right, my initial tangent with RWBY. Because I have a lot of thoughts, is that you can see her, we really get little glimpses at what Lindsay had been talking about how Summer's death affected her, and how this season really had a lot of growth for her in store, and we haven't really seen her push to her limits. And my dog is campaigning for dinner. Great. During commentary. Bonus points. You can definitely kind of see that here, is that just like everyone else, she is terrified and she's scared of doing something wrong, and there is so much at stake. Because, like, Beacon was horrifying. Beacon was scary. It was traumatic. It was life-changing. But when Beacon happened, she didn't know everything. When Beacon happened, it was a single event. It was a single moment. What's happening in Atlas is that moment, but tenfold. It is that moment, but with the knowledge of everything that led up to it. It's that moment when you realize that something wasn't a random act of violence. It was the result of a systemic issue. It's when you realize that something that you, like, it's like discovering a problem is bigger than you expected. When you go to, like, get rid of some mold on your floor and then you realize there's even more underneath. Or you go to get rid of... I don't even know the best way to describe it. It's... she's really just getting hit with the fact that this isn't... Not only is this a replay of what happened to her years ago, or a year ago, when she lost her best friend, and she lost a good friend, when she literally witnessed 2 people die. Well, 3, Roman. This isn't just, I mean, she didn't care about him, but still, human life. Like, it's that event, but it's that event with the full scope of every horrific thing that led up to it. In addition to that, it's the stress of knowing that because she isn't caught off guard here, she has to be able to do something, that everything is depending on her. It just scares me every time. It's the layers and layers of stress and fear and responsibility that are hitting her. Because not only is she trying to do an impossible task, but she has her teammates looking up to her. She has all this stuff on her shoulders. And meanwhile, people around her are dropping like flies. And it's terrifying. And she's trying her best, but she is a 16-year-old girl. She's 16, 17 at the most. And she's a child. And we've seen grown adults can't even handle this thing. Like, Crow started drinking, Raven straight up left. Like, if even adults can't process this and can't handle this properly, and she's a child. Like, and I know it's just a genre thing where it's like, it's always the young people who do it, and it's one of those things where it's like, you should never put that kind of stress on a child. But it's one of those things where, like, you can see it hitting her, is that beneath the Huntress, beneath the leader, she's terrified. And she's scared of failing almost more than everything else. Because she knows what's at stake. She's seen it. And Blake, like, I liked her calling out for her, but at the same time, I feel like that was just salt in the wound. Is that it was very much just like, Ruby, I need you to get up. I need you to get up. And it's like, in that moment, like, she's doing everything she can to pull herself back up on her feet, while being dragged down by the weight of so much going on at once and everything on her shoulders. And I love that. I love Ruby just getting up and taking out, and just that, I could hear you. And it's that Ruby isn't denying it. She is doing what she can to get back up on her feet. It's like, in the words of Spider-Man, always get back up. And sometimes that's hard, and you can see it really wearing on her. And I just need to give her a hug. Jesus. I need to wrap her up in blankets and take her away from here. So Cinder caused the explosion. That makes sense. Got Watts out, which is interesting. I guess that does make sense, though, because it was very much a race between the Hound and Cinder who could get to Penny. And if Cinder knows about Watts' plan, bring him to her to have him bring the girl to her. You know what I mean. Get Watts so Watts can bring Penny to Cinder. There we go. Using proper nouns makes it easier. But I'm glad that Whitley had that idea. And that you can kind of see he knew what his dad was doing was wrong, but it was very much kind of a, I need to do this in order to survive in this household kind of a thing. Which, yeah, I can't even blame him that much for it. I do need to rewatch this episode, though, because I did talk over some of the snark, so I did miss a couple lines of it. And gratuitous. Okay, Penny, I do like the animation where she always appears more robotic whenever she's hacked. It was a little jarring having her eye fling open, but, like, that was the point. Because that was the point, is that if that part of her body is being, like, taken over by the hack again, then it's, like, the fact that Nora grounded her was very sweet, and that she grounded her with the same words that, like, Blake used on her, it's like, it's just a part. It's just that, a part of you. Don't forget about the rest. It's so good. But my tiny nuts and bolts heart was like, it should have been Ruby. Also, can we just get an F in the chat for Klein being thrown around like a ragdoll? Oh, and then Nora can't even get up to help, which is gonna do a number on her already beat up self-worth. It's just gonna be like, oh man, I love how I couldn't even stop her because I could not move enough. That's a great feeling, but that's gonna be great to add to her feelings of worthlessness and ineptitude. That's just the cherry on top. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's great. It's great, I love it. It's fantastic. Now the thing that I was like initially needing to talk about at the teased at the beginning, I realize I'm like moving around a lot. I'm by. What do you want from me? Can't sit like a normal person. But let's talk about morality and how it's really fucking with Ruby. So like, I think it's pretty safe to say that of all of Team RWBY, Ruby is the most true good of them. Like they're all good. They're all on that big old chart. She is definitely in like the in the good category. But it's like, I feel like of all of them, she is the most clearly defined by it. And when you fight monsters that don't have souls and who literally only exist to cause pain, you don't lose sleep over it, because they would kill and hurt without remorse. I loved that delivery, Lindsay. I don't think they watched this. I loved that delivery of Ruby's line. It was great, it was perfect, it was just, there were so many good deliveries with Ruby and Blake. I have some gripes with a couple of the ones from this. But Lindsay always kills it as Ruby, but especially these past two volumes. But to use her ability, which has always been to protect and to save and prevent loss, and her skills, which have always been to protect and defend, to use them and then to see a person inside of the Grimm. To see that this whole time, because when you're fighting someone, and you can kind of see this when they fight other people, is they always kind of have to hold back. Is that, because you can go for killing strike after killing strike on a monster because you know that you have to kill it. But if you're trying not to kill someone and you need to fight them, I feel like that's almost harder. It's easy to be ruthless. It's hard to pull your punches. And I feel like this was kind of exemplary of that, because she didn't pull her punches because she saw that it was a Grimm. And then to see that there was a person inside. A person who she knows from Salem, just knowing who Salem is, would have been hurt and tortured and was turned into this. And looks like they're in pain. It goes against everything in her. Thank you for trying to comfort me. It goes against everything in her being to fight something like that. And you can see that in her face. And I'm gonna open, like, you can see this here. It's the horror of what is this and what has been done to them. But it's also the what have I done? And if she wasn't having a crisis beforehand, you can bet she's having one now. And you can see it still when they push the armor on it. Because if you look, Blake and Weiss are horrified, but they're not as horrified as Ruby is. Whitley and Willow they're scared, but they aren't as focused on it being a person, partially because they didn't see it. But Taco, you're not helping. But you can see, because when Grimm are killed, they turn to dust. Pause? Okay. People linger. Their bodies linger. And you could see in that moment, the Grimm went away, but the man was left. And it has you, you can see her wondering, what makes it a person? Does it have a soul? It like, you can see her struggling with that fear of, in protecting protecting people, am I hurting others? And is it morally right to kill this? It's the horror of, I didn't even have a chance to save them. There was nothing that could be done. It's the Nina and Alexander Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's the Scar killed her before they had the chance to try to save her. It's the horror of all of these powers, all of this skill, all of this training, and I couldn't save a single child. And that's what's hitting her in this moment. And you can see her debating, someone who has defined herself on being good, on helping others, having this moment of, did I do the right thing? And just the grief of, this was a person. How much pain did someone have to be put through to do this? How much pain did they endure to be made into this? Like, and you can see it all on her face and in how she's done. And like, that's just peak animating. But it's also brilliantly, like, the writing and boarding and animation for this episode were unbelievable, but like this like scene chunk especially is just ridiculous. Holy shit. Ugh. Anyway, this was 45 minutes of me screaming about Ruby Rose, surprising literally no one. Baby girl, baby. Now I have to do a Ruby photo shoot like this. Taco, please don't rub on my mic. Also, you know this means I have to make a second version of her outfit and cover it in penny goo, which, yikes. I'm still hoping we can get, because like if Nora could shake Penny out of it, I'm wondering if Ruby can shake Penny out of it. You know, in a gay way. Oh. Alright, well I'm gonna call it there because someone's feeling cuddly and I have to do homework. But talk about a way to kick off being back to regularly airing. I know that they didn't plan to have the break, but you know, it works pretty well, frankly. I'm afraid to see Team Jean Ren and Yang. They don't really. Team Jin, sure. No. Ridge. Them. Team Babe. Because they're all babes. I'm excited to see them, but I'm also very terrified that they're going to be going in there in the first place. And I know that a lot of people are talking about death flags for Jean, and he better not. You better stop! My heart can't take it. My heart, like, I know there's a lot of people just like, don't chew that! If, like, big name people don't die this season, then there aren't, like, as high are the stakes, and I can see the death flags that people are talking about, but that doesn't mean that I want them. That doesn't mean I want anyone to die. I definitely don't want any of them to die. Like, I would guess I would prefer Jean to Ren, which this feels like debating which child I want shot. I would prefer Jean die to Ren, I guess, just because at least that way Ren and Nora can still be together. We don't need two broken hearts and two halves of a relationship on Team Juniper. We already have one. But I'm fear. I am fear. Who knows, maybe they'll go in and the Aesop will change their mind and take their place in time or something. I really don't know. I'm glad that Ruby's getting better with using her silver eyes, but it's wish she hadn't had to use them in this context. Really wish she hadn't used it in context. Taco, really? It's not good that her aura is gone. It's not good that Blake's took a bad hit. I don't know how long it takes to recharge their aura. Hey! Especially because they're not going to run into Jean anytime soon. And even then, he's been working on replenishing Yang and Ren, and they weren't at full either. So everyone's running on like a quarter tank of gas at this point, which isn't good because we're only 8 episodes in and there's probably 4 or 5 more episodes to go. So we have a solid third of the show to go, which I imagine is where everything's going to get even more high stakes. So that's just going to be great. And I imagine there's not exactly like a pill you can take to boost your aura, otherwise that would be a drug market in Revenant. I am very glad that we got to see Blake using dust like that again. We haven't really seen her using dust in her semblance since Volume 2, and that was one thing that I really loved her seeing, or loved seeing her do. It also was a great moment between her and Weiss, and I always think of those two whenever I see it. It makes me very happy that we're seeing her do that still, and I want her to do it more. I think she did a little bit more dual wielding than she has in the past too, and I want her to do that more. And I say this in like every video, but that's my biggest gripe with Blake's fight scenes, is that she's not really dual wielding much anymore. But she did a little bit today, and that makes me happy. So I should wrap up because we're approaching an hour. Yikes. So I record these on Mondays. Usually it's gonna be Monday nights. So I will be off of Twitter on Saturdays and Sundays when the episode is out, so I don't get spoiled. So fair rule of thumb, so that way I don't have to send out the same Bernie Sanders meme every single week, because I feel like that gets kind of annoying. It's annoying, at least for me, to do it. But just know that I won't be able to talk about stuff until then. I am streaming Persona 5 The Royal every single week. I stream pretty much the entirety of the day on Wednesdays, once in the afternoon and then once at night. We are breezing through the game. We just finished Yusuke and Madarame's Palace, so we're coming up to Makoto and that whole skis. I'm going in completely blind, save for the knowledge of the Phantom Thief, like who the Phantom Thieves are and the individual characters, thus the Kasumi figure. But you guys should come. I multi-stream it to both Twitch and YouTube, so it'll be in both places, but the VODs are unlisted on YouTube afterwards, and they're all on Twitch, just because I need to go in and edit them down, or either Zed or I need to go in and compact them, because my internet can be an asshole. And when we were doing the boss for Kamoshida's Palace, it literally crashed 4 times. But I hope to see some of you guys there. It's always really fun. It's lots of me screaming and getting excited. So if you want something uplifting in comparison to the doom and gloom in RWBY, and there's cat hair in my eye, thanks babe. I hope you guys all have a great week. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to see stuff. I really need to work on my RWBY cosplay. But please, please, please be safe out there, guys. I know a lot of people are going out more because it seems like we're approaching the end of a tunnel, that because numbers have been dropping a little bit and because there are vaccines, people started kind of playing a little more fast and loose with rules. Please, for the love of God, do not. Like, even if you get a vaccine, that doesn't mean you should go out. Like, if you get a tetanus shot, you don't step on rusty rebar. Like, be careful, take care of yourselves. If not for your own sake, then for the people around you. Because you might not get a serious case of COVID, but if you have it and you give it to someone, you could pass an old person. Like, it's not just about yourself. Take care of others, for the love of God. Just stay inside. I know it sucks. I know it's hard. Believe me, I have been home for officially a year, and as someone who doesn't necessarily have... Someone just rang my doorbell. And as someone who doesn't have the most necessarily supportive environment, believe me, I know that it's hard and it sucks and we all want this to be over. But it's the only thing that's going to make it end faster is if people take care and are safe and follow guidelines. Like, and if you are someone like me who is stuck at home and is in a less than ideal situation, then just hang in there. It sounds horrible, and I personally hate hearing it. So but there's not anything I can say that can make it better. It's just know that this too will come to an end, and just stay strong. We'll make it through this. I'm sorry, I've been playing with my bangs for like the past 30 minutes. I had a rough hair day today, and it's still kind of lingering. But I hope you guys have a good week. I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully this will be up on time. I'm gonna be thinking about that Goo Man. The Goo Man group. That was a bad joke.